Hello and welcome to another edition of the Eternal Journey. I'm the Resolves, and this is Xenan Brushstalker. So the audio might be a little bit weird today because I had a couple of mic problems, but hopefully that won't stand in the way of what looks like a pretty cool deck. I have been meaning to get around to picking up the Xenan Brushstalker and see how it really compares in a Xenan Killer's type of deck. And although it does have some downsides to it, where your opponent's able to tempo you out with cards like Seek Power or Wisdom Elders or just any sort of instant speed interaction. Against a lot of beatdown decks, this is going to be really cool because it's going to enable you to keep reusing the Twilight Hunt or Z Initiation that's on top of your Xenan Brushstalker, as well as being a real good way of being insulated against spot removal at slow speed and anything like Harsh Rule that would otherwise wipe out your board. Your Xenan Brushstalker is going to return to hand, and then when you get to play the Xenan Brushstalker again, you're going to get back all those tasty Dawnwalkers. And it won't take long for you to just be able to really rebuild that board and just demolish any sort of unitless control piles. So this is pretty much just the Xenan Killers list. I've just made a couple of changes, but let's get on the ladder and see how these games work out. Okay, well, easy redraw here. Power's a little bit off, but that's just the price of not having a crest in the Xenan colours. Now, this hand isn't perfect, but we've got a nice bit of interaction here. Got the Ripknife Assassin with the Twilight Hunt, the third power pretty much guaranteed with this Vara's favour. So Ricano could be... Okay, well, actually, let's do this. Actually, we can do this on free. I was thinking of doing the Seek Power now, but then I'd be forcing to get the Shadow Source, which is pulling us further away from Predatory, Carnosaur, and Dawnwalker rebuys. So let's just play the Xenan Banner. Then we can just play the Ripknife next turn, and then turn after, just Vara's favourite we have to, but for the most part, we're just going to be playing the Seek Power as well, just to keep getting deeper. Uh-oh. Well, there we go. Perfect. Sea of Mystery. So this matchup could be rough because our opponent's going to be able to gum up the ground here with gubbins like TikTok and no doubt Slumbering Stones. But hopefully we'll just be able to pip this one out of the way and start getting those war cries rolling. I was not even here just for attacking first, because if that was like a torch, it could have prevented us from getting the war cry in, but just attacking, and we've got pretty much everything we need, but we'll just grab a time sigil here, and I've got 6 on top of our Obelisk, which we're going to play next turn, and then we should be able to put down a real good clock here. Well, this is sort of a nuisance with the Promuch Crest Gang. Yeah, opponent's getting TikTok. Because now, even with the Obelisk, we just trade straight up for the Promuch Crest Gang, which isn't really where I want to be. But also, just not attacking seems terrible as well. So we do trade there, but hopefully we'll just find our Brushstalker so we can start showing how good that card can be in these sort of matchups where there's a lot of spells going on. And we should be able to get the Twilight Hunters to mow down whatever our opponent's trying to get stuck down with. Interesting to see the Fire Splash in this deck, and it is a splash and not just a fancy use of crest, as we'd have the basic Fire Sigil there. Now, well, opponent's... Except I would like to use the Twilight Hunt perhaps, you know, to refresh one of our dinosaurs, but I think here we're just going to kill the thing. I get to draw a card, and then next turn I'm going to be drawing another 2 because of the Nightfall. There we go. So we're really going to get the card draw rolling now. Crow is also a pretty nice inclusion because it helps you to pick up any sort of Destiny units. Oh well, get to sort of have it all here. Pop down the Interrogator to draw a card. And then if my opponent goes in for attacks, potentially going to Ayan. Although, approach deck should probably be playing Harshal, so I might hang fire for that. Well, we sadly don't have an answer to the Inquisitor Maxo. Well, at least not a permanent one, at least. But we'll just pop this out of the way. Then I think I'm probably not attacking for 4 here, because I don't want to just get gobbled up by everything here. So draw a card next turn. Probably just going to ultimate the Ayan. So maybe that's a reason for not actually playing the Ayan last turn. Now this scrap tank could get incredibly huge here. They're going to turn into a 5/5. Just going to take the 1 instead. It's also from boosting it up, and just means that if you do draw any sort of killer technology. Dark return on this Auric Interrogator would be pretty nice. I'm going to guess if our opponent's playing stuff like Scrap Tank, they're probably not playing Harshal, but I don't mind getting in here with the Predatory Carnosaur. We do grow the Scrap Tank somewhat. Well, there we go. Got the Twilight Hunter able to deal with this next turn, no doubt. This doesn't give the Dawnwalker a bonus +1/+1 like the Xenan Initiation does. But as we've got the Obelisk and the 8 power, then we should be okay in terms of the Dawnwalker here. Just being able to keep recurring and gobbling up this Scrap Tank. I think that's what we're going to do here. I'm just going to keep these 2 safe just because these are going to be our engines at some point. If anything dies here, I'm just going to rebuy it with the Ayan. Our opponent can just chump the Predatory Carnosaur, but they might not actually trade him for the Rhynarch, because this having overall makes it a bit of a pain. We do give our opponent a bunch of revenge back. But now we get to ultimate the Ayan, bring back the Rhynarch, which is going to give us back the Dawnwalker. And now next turn we've got an Overwhelm killer. I think next turn we probably should start attacking with this Ayan just to gain a little bit of lives back. We're not under an immense amount of pressure. Well, our opponent's doing a great job of being able to refill the board, and here's perhaps where we'd like to have something like an In Cold Blood. I was just going to use a Dawnwalker to kill one of these Crown Witches, but I guess now we're just going to be dealing with the Inquisitor Maxo. Our opponent's having a little bit of a think here. Some of the cards I've got have just led me into believing that they're just not a Harshal sort of deck. Well, this attack means they probably are going to Harshal this turn. Although we do get to rebuy the Dawnwalker straight away anyway. Now the Dark Turn there is pretty sweet as well. See, with the revenge units, it's always quite nice. Oh, this isn't quite what we're looking for. I do feel a little bit flooded now. But as long as we're able to just find a little bit more gas or just a dark return to get back the killer Auric Interrogator, we should be in great shape. Spending spells on our Dawnwalker is pretty much fine as far as I'm concerned. And the scrap tank could be a bit of a problem because now I've run out of ways to really deal with it. As the length of time to be able to get back our killer Dawnwalker is going to be a bit of a problem. So I mean, I'll just take 4 here. And then we're still live at least if we find a dark return. Snapping Brushstalker right on time. And I think that we've been completely outvalued here. But I'm impressed to see that Overmaster's Revenge Hour deck has taken on a new life. Perhaps if you discard the Witching Hours, you do get to play a bunch of the fire spells. And your Courage Press Gangs are reasonably impressive if you're able just to start picking up like Grending Drones. Well, we can take 6 like for the last time here. I think next turn will probably when we start to block. Because I really want to get this Dawnwalker to be able to kill the scrap tank here. Although we are in quite a bit of trouble here because the Carnosaur's got lethal in play. As we're only able to block the 4 and the 3. Perhaps playing on tablet here and not got the A space button. But yeah. Not the best showing for the deck in the first game, but let's move on to the next one and see if we can go from there. I'm not entirely sure that Sandstorm Titan would have done a better job than Brushstrider there, but if we just ended up running out of gas and perhaps we just made a couple of mistakes not being aggressive enough earlier on in the game. Okay, well here we're on the draw, well on the play. Nice easy redraw though. This hand is not what I'm looking for. I think I'm going to hang fire on the Seek Powders to figure out what we need, because for the most part I'd like to use it to grab a time source. Well, now we've got the second shadow, which is what I was looking for really, because you do need to consider that we've got Ayan in the deck, we do need double shadow. Okay, now I can just grab the time source. And if we do draw one of our units like a... Well, we're against Fel, so this hand could be pretty gross. Because we do have 3 spells that are not going to do anything for quite some time. I'm sort of tempted to hang fire on the Interrogator so we can just turn it into a 5-power unit and get our card draw going. But I also don't mind if I want like permafrost this is fine. I feel like they can hailstorm it of course, but if they permafrost it, well, let's see an Obelisk, but I'm not attacking because I don't want to get lightning striked. I'd rather just draw my card for sure. So they had Wisdom of the Elders, which is sort of sad because we've just given them the opportunity to do it, but I think if we'd have got lightning struck there and just lost our Auric Interrogator then, we'd have been pretty sad because we just had 3 more dead cards in hand and lose out on the card draw there. I think now I'm willing to try and fish it out. Also, definitely just not got it, so we just missed out a couple of points of damage. But we managed to draw 2 cards off the Auric Interrogator so far. So we should still be in reasonable shape. And I do enjoy playing a deck where the Inco Blood's going to do very little. Well, I'm just going to keep using this Auric Interrogator. Let's keep those cards going. And if my opponent tries to play the Champion or even the Feast Call, I feel like right here we just get to gobble it up. Yeah, this just feels absurd. We've now got the Carnosaur online, but it looks like we're just going to double Ayan at the end of our opponent's turn. And then we should be able to get ourselves some lethal from that point. But our opponent struggled a little bit on power as well, but Let's get those irons in there. Yeah, that's enough. We didn't really get to see the power of the Brushstalker there. But we did get to see how great Auric and Interrogator is. Okay, well, another easy redraw here. Just really relying on the eternal mulligan system just to get us there. And here we have the age-old combo of Dawnwalker plus the initiation. I'm going to wait a turn, well, perhaps before we can actually play the Dawnwalker before I decide what to do with this Amber Monument. But I think it's probably going to be playing it down. Well, this helps a bunch because now we get to have even more time before we have to decide. Of course, Dark Return and Dawnwalker isn't quite the combo. And this looks like it could very well be grounding. Okay, that's even better. I'll play the Interrogator, hoping that our opponent tries and kills it so we get to Dark Return it back and just get those cards flowing again. Okay, looks like it could very well be removal pile or armor in that case, which I'm sort of happier to be playing against. There you go. That's what I like to see. Just kill our guy so we get to play it but better. I just really enjoy how grindy this deck is, and I think next turn, so I don't miss our power, probably just going to play it on the Ember Monument. It's our third time source, and if we are going to be drawing extra cards, do really want to deploy them all. Okay, well, discarding Macto, so I'm pretty happy there. And now might be a time where you get to see the power of the Brushstalker. Well, this would be the additional time source to get our Dawnwalkers back. But I think I'm just going to play the banner down. And then I've just got another big threat to be playing. You see, our opponent's going to be unable to kill this apart from with weapons. And of course, like, this is where we're just able to get tempoed out a little bit with the Snapping Brushstalker. But, okay, well. Now we've assembled the lock of the Dawnwalker plus Brushstrider. That's crunching for 4 here. And realistically, most of the spells our opponents got should be like removal spells. Of course, they can get us with like quarries and seek powers. But if you play like a harsh rule to try and tidy up. Okay, well, I'm reasonably happy now. Because we get to kill a carrier. Chunk him for 5. Well, our opponent is off it. Because you can see we've assembled the lock. I was most impressed with locks. It's quite cheap and dirty, but I do enjoy this sort of gameplay. Cool. Yeah, again, here we go on the redraw. And this hand's going to need some help. We've got killer effects with an Obelisk, which is great, but we do also need some units, so maybe we should think about upping the unit count. But we get to be on the play, and Vara's favoured down a Initiate the Sandstorm. I'm feeling pretty great here. And I guess we'll figure out whether this is straight Praxis or just Praxis tokens, but there we go with the Twinbrood Sauropod. So these Twilight hunts are going to do some real work, especially if we're able to pick up a Dark Return, because let me tell you, if you get to Dark Return back Twinbrood Sauropods, you get 2 killers, and that is delicious. Well, our opponent is going to get to attack us with the Relic Raider here. But next turn we get to play the Sauropod, and we'll probably just Twilight Hunt it the next turn. And hopefully we'll be able to just get rid of this and keep on top of the game before our opponent's able to do too much. Okay, so this is straight Praxis mid-range. There's a couple of versions that's been running around just playing the Bar card. Well, we have lost our Obelisk, which is reasonably sad. But for the most part, we should be able to make our units bigger than our opponents just because we do have the Twilight Hunt and there's the Initiation. Right. Yeah, let's just kill this one up. Opponent does get to gain a little bit of life from this interaction. But next turn I'm just going to kill up the other one or play the Carnosaur, depending on what our opponent plays back. Of course, our opponents established the Dawnwalker killer themselves. But if we find like another Obelisk then, oh yeah, it could just be too big for it to matter. Right here, I don't mind losing a little bit of value on the killer here, just killing the 1/3, but I don't really want to keep our opponent drawing millions of cards. And then probably just going to put the Twilight Hunt on one of these just to gobble this up. So I don't know if they're fishing for a torch there or if they have an actual answer. Yeah. But we're going to have a 7/7 that's going to take down the... well, not anymore. The 7/7 heart gets to gobble up our unit. Well, let's hope that this works out. We get to kill our opponent's Dawnwalker. And yeah, really feeling the loss of that Xenan Obelisk now. I think it could be in quite a lot of trouble here. But Purify is sort of fine because it means we get to kill whatever our opponent plays next. Now, well, it's Dark Return time. We can get the 7/6 Twinbrood Sauropod, and I think that's slightly better than just getting a 7/7 Predatory Carnosaur. Just because we'll get 2 copies of these. This means we do get to at least trade for this Heart of the Vault. We are taking 4 next turn, but then next turn we should be able to just play the Xenan Brushstalker and the Twinbrood Sauropod, and that's just 2 huge killers. I will use the Brushstalker's killer first. Just because this is the one that's more likely to get a couple of double dips out of. I'd like an Obelisk or just like a... what? Shotglass Mage there doing the Lord's work. Just bringing back a bunch of Dawnwalkers. So now we're in some rough shape here. We'll just kill that. Then I'm not going to block it with the Snapping Brushstalker. That would be pretty bad for us. I'm just going to wait till end of turn, pop out an Ayan. Now we get to attack in, gain a little bit of life, and then just make some huge body there. I think now's sort of the point where we might just want to keep Ayan back. But it is Dark Return here. Just get some 8/7 Twinbrood Sauropods. And we are really struggling against these Dawnwalkers here. And that had been a turn where I'd really liked our opponent just to have missed so that we could get in there with the Ayan Ultimate. So it's just double lot just to minimise the amount of damage that we can take here. Our opponent does have a follow-up here to rebuy those, so I feel like we're in okay shape. And here's a Vara's choice, finally to be able to deal with some of those Dawnwalkers. Well, let's get some attacks in. Now hopefully we should be able to turn the corner here. I do want to save the Twinbrood Sauropod just as a removal spell here. So I'd like to be able to attack with the Rhinoarch. Wow, our opponent's going big here with the Mystic Ascendant. But fortunately that didn't bring back the Dawnwalkers, so we do get a little bit of a reprieve here. Let's just kill this, get rid of this nonsense. I suppose we just put a killer here just because this means that we get to choose how we're attacking here. Now we might manage to turn the game around it with the Exacties damage. Oh, well, I've no idea how we managed to pull that one out of the bag, but we managed it. Okay, well, we're on the draw, and we get to play the Snapping Brushstrider, so I'm pretty happy here. Also got like a Vara's Choice as a bit of interaction. As well as some card advantage here, the Sauropod and the Interrogator. Not sure if this is actually a capable hand though, even though it does look really good, just because we are going to be really reliant on just finding a fourth power. But this is the last game of the set, so let's go for it and see where we can get to with it. Though I think given the context of our hand, we will just be playing the Monument face down as our first power of the game. Okay, so we're against Hero here, so maybe we're going to be playing some Svetchers. Svetcher could be a bit of a problem, but fortunately, if this is like just a unit deck, a lot of our stuff could just be bigger than what our opponent's up to. Though I think I'm probably just going to be snapping off the Vara's Choice next turn, so we get to curve nicely into the Interrogator. And though the Interrogator does not do a great job against like Valkyrie Enforcer and stuff like that. Well, we've got two Valkyrie Enforcers here, and we've got a Dawnwalker. I think we're just going to go for the unique card though, as the Pacify being a 3/4 is just a bit more of a pain than Valkyrie Enforcer, just a 3/3. Okay, so we can at least trade the cards that we silenced. So this is the TJP mid-range beatdown deck. Yeah, I'm reasonably happy for this set, because we've got endless threats. So if our opponent is like playing Svetcher and stuff like that, then we should be in reasonably okay shape. And if our opponent makes a Valkyrie and silences our Interrogator, that's not the end of the world here. Just going to attack in. I'll play Banner first, of course. I don't think that the Brushstalker is going to be super excellent in this matchup. So I'm reasonably happy just to get silenced here, but as our opponent does have Stand Together like a combat trick as well as Finely Styled, we'll be able to bounce their Snapping Brushstalker into our hand pretty much whenever they feel like it. But if this gets silenced, then I feel like we're sort of in an okay shape here actually. I'd like to draw a killer effect. Okay, it's actually fine. We're just going to attack with both our units. I'm just going to Vara's Choice this. Our opponent should be out of silence effects, so we're able to play our Dawnwalker. And I'm starting to feel that the hand we kept is perhaps a little bit on the weak side, but we're just going to play a 5/4 every turn for the next couple of turns. Our opponent is going to get to Gobbles for 8 here. We've got quite a lot of damage on the way back. Okay, so I think now we actually need to take a turn off, just so we're not absolutely dead next turn. Just to give this killer, gobble in, and put our opponent on a 2-turn clock that we're on. I feel like we also do need to find another killer effect just to deal with this 4/4. But our opponent does need to perhaps stick back, and the Vanquish means that maybe they can stay. Well, yeah, let's give them the old business. I was hoping to end this series up as a 4/1, just like the old Dawnwalker. But sadly, we are dead to the Valkyrie Enforcer here. Well, GG's to the opponent there. Let's get into that deck tech. Okay, let's come back for a bonus game of this. Well, this is a sort of hand I like to see, actually, with the Interrogator into the Obelisk, and if our opponent does kill it, we're still able to rebuy it with a Dark Return. So we should be able to never really run out of cards here. We do realistically need a 4th power, but no doubt we should be able to find it on the way anyway. Oh, there we go. Okay, well, more power is not exactly what we're looking for, but we do have an Obelisk, so we do have a payoff for finding more power than we really need. And I've also got the Predatory Carnosaur, which is just great if you're able to play that on time. So it really just helps you to push quite a lot of damage. Here's the Huru Pacifier, which shouldn't do too much against us. And I've also got a 5/4 to attack in with her. Then next turn we get to start making Twinbrood Sauropods, and then turn after no doubt let's get to Carnosaur down something, and just keep pushing for a bunch of damage. Our opponent can silence this or maybe even vanquish it, but our opponent's deck is quite low in interaction, and it might just be something like an Equivocate, which again isn't brilliant for us. But hopefully we should be able to fight for all that if we're only going to be taking 3 in the air. Well, this is sort of fine. Just ignore our opponent, just keep trucking in for damage. Next turn, if we find a power, probably just get the Carnosaur just to gobble something up. And well, that bites, because that means that we can't play our Seek powers. But for the most part, the Stretcher has just done exactly nothing there. So we're lucky enough to be playing one of the decks that just doesn't care. Just like, cool, 15 me this turn, good luck. And especially could be really tedious to play against if you're playing like a more control deck, and I've definitely played against it yesterday when I was testing for one of the other videos, and I probably just like made a Svetcher and then mirror imaged it, and that was absolutely disgusting. But I think that this deck might be okay against it just because it's got enough stuff going on. And of course, it's got the Permafrost there to be able to deal with our Twinbrood Sauropod, which is a little bit of a pain. But I'm still just going to like chunk in for like 11 damage. I've probably got to make some realistic blocks, and maybe that's what they're thinking about here. How do they get out of this situation? And that's what I like about proactive decks, is that you just get to put your opponent in a situation, you're just like, well, answer me. And this is what I enjoy about the mid-range beatdown decks, rather than just the straight-up fire-based. I've probably decided, is it safe to attack? And the answer is, if I draw a power, no. I'll grab a Time Source here. So both, our opponent has to double chump here. Now, nothing has any sweet abilities there. So I'll just grab another power just so that we can curve out very nicely next turn. I think we'll actually echo back the Twinbrood Sauropod. Then end of turn, just going to flash in this Ayan. Just make sure there's no nasty surprises. And then we should be able to get in for just shy of lethal. But that was another reason to get rid of all those Sig powers and get the Dark Return out of hand there. There we go. Obelisk, Carnosaur and Ayan all working together just to get the job done. Yeah, this deck's honestly quite sweet, and I will be refining it a little bit, but I've just really enjoyed playing it. Okay, so that was Xenan Brushstalker, and you can hopefully see the power of the actual card here, as although it does have the downside where your opponent is able to tempo you out by just playing cheap spells that don't actually do anything, if you're just playing against like a lot of removal spells, and specifically not weapons, although Brushstalker does do some work against weapons, like doesn't really care about the Runehammer. And Runehammer is a card that our deck seems to be pretty well insulated from, as we do have cards like Twilight Hunt, and we've got Vara's Favour, which are just really good ways of just dealing 1 damage to the opponent. But I was super impressed by Brushstalker and didn't really miss that I cut some Sandstorm Titan, although I do feel like we do need some more units. I wouldn't really want to put in another 3-drop like maybe Brushstalker, so it'd perhaps be another 2-drop. Though the Desert Sandstrider would be a pretty interesting inclusion at 4, as it's also a charged unit, which is pretty nice if you're playing as Control-X as well. It just gives you extra ways of just beating them, because it's pretty difficult for them to beat the Brushstalker plus Dawnwalker interaction now that the Brushstalker's a 5/5. But just having charge as well means that your opponent's really just never safe, as well as in the late game just being able to pop off and make an additional body. Okay, so thanks for watching. I've been That Resolves, and this was Xenan Brushstalker, a deck I'll definitely be revisiting in the future.